Hi, everybody. It's Christy-Faith. How are you guys doing tonight? Hello. Good evening. Hi, mamas. It's been a while. I have not been able to go live in quite some time. I think it may have been since Thanksgiving. I'm so excited, but I had to go live tonight because I am getting so many DMs and messages about mamas pulling their kids out to homeschool after the holidays. I was like, okay, I gotta get one live in at least before Christmas. Hello, everybody. Welcome. Come on in. Hi, everybody. Hello, Instagram. Hello, TikTok and YouTube.
Yep.
Are we on YouTube as well? Hi, everybody. Welcome. Come on in. I am Christy-Faith. I am here to answer any and all homeschooling questions that you might have this evening. Hello. Oh, hi. We are just coming on now, and I had promised myself that I would be able to go live before Christmas because so many mamas are asking me, DMing me, like, yikes, about homeschooling their kids after the holidays. So if you are in that boat where you're like, I think I want to pull my kid, please let me know in the comments. Oh, hi! Jen's here. Oh, hi everybody. I know, can you believe I'm live? Are you allowed to, do you know? Or will I get banned for that? I made the most amazing dinner tonight. I made beef bourguignon. Hello. How are you, Jen? It's good to see you. We just started, like right this second. Welcome everybody. I promised myself that I would go live because so many mamas are asking me about homeschooling after the holidays. Their holiday break is coming up or it's already started and they're feeling done. They are like, I'm over this. How in the world do I homeschool? I'm allowed? You're not going to report me? Do you have a glass, Jen? Do you want to have wine together or do you have coffee? Oh, babe, will you turn on that fan? Perimenopause. Anyone else in perimenopause? Oh my goodness, he is! Oh, you need to DM me. Jen, I'm so upset because I'm wondering, and I actually saw Sydney yesterday, and I desperately wanted to ask her about you and your son, and here we are live, like announcing it. That's funny. But I didn't ask her because I'm a professional, but I was dying. You have tea? You have tea? Okay. Good. Yes. Okay, vacation next week. Do you know what? We are doing homeschooling this week because I love taking the week after Christmas totally off. I'm going to take a little sip. Hi, everybody. Okay. Oh my goodness, you cried? Girl, I'm so upset that I have not been in there crying with you. I'm so mad. I'm mad at you. We're in a fight. Of course, we're not really in a fight, but I hate it when I hand people over to like other people and then I never hear about how it's going. So I want to know. Okay, let me take a quick sip. If you are a mama who is considering homeschooling after the holidays, please raise your hand. Let us know. Also, I want to know where you are from and how many kids you have. And I want to know, I'm serious, I want to know if you are currently homeschooling. Okay, this is first. Remember all this. I want to know if you're currently homeschooling. I want to know if you are, how long, and how many kids you have. Do we have a first question?
Red and Control said, I just started homeschooling my teenager.
Oh my goodness. I would love to have you on the teen office hours in Thrive. Have you looked at Thrive Homeschool Community? We can help you homeschool your teen. That's a whole different ballgame, girl. The homeschooling the teens. Yeah. Babe, I am not feeling the fan. It's being blocked by this. You guys would have no idea like everything that's going on, like that you can't see with the lights. Okay, I'm in Colorado. Yay. Oh, that fan feels so good now. Yes, another question.
Holly says, this is our first year and I've got 3 girls, ages 12, 9, and days from being 7.
Okay. Oh, those are great. Hey, wait, I have kids the same age as you. Okay.
And Emily from Pennsylvania, 2 kids, currently doing a hybrid.
Okay.
We got Jennifer Hartley.
Hello, Jennifer.
We are in our 4th year, halfway through 2nd grade
Yes.
in South Carolina.
Awesome.
Trisha.
We love Jennifer Hartley.
Hello, Christy. Still holding belief it'll work.
Oh, good. Ask me your questions tonight, guys. Also, I want you to know that if you are not sure what Thrive Homeschool Community is and what I offer in there, ask me. I'm going to answer your questions tonight. But it literally saves you so much time, so much trouble, especially if it's for everybody. There's mamas in there that are homeschooling 10 years and they desperately love the support because we all need to be able to find our people. But if you are someone who is feeling insecure, like you're worried you're going to mess up your kid, you are worried that you're going to do something wrong, or maybe that you, like, deep down, you're wondering, like, am I capable? Like, can I actually do this? You need to look at the Homeschool Success Framework in Thrive Homeschool Community. You can ask me questions about it tonight, but also you can go to my bio and look at, I made a video on there, so you can look at everything on there and see if it's a fit for you. But I made a community that I wish I had when I started homeschooling, but more than that, it's like up-leveled also with the educational expertise from my 20 years teaching kids K to college, thousands of families. And all that information is on my website if you're curious. But I want your homeschooling questions, and I still want to find out where everybody's from.
Okay, Red and Control, the one who just started homeschooling with kids
Okay.
your age.
Okay.
From Colorado. Have 2 kids, but only 1 homeschooler. Just started 1 month ago.
Oh my goodness, you're new! I would love to get to know you. Oh my goodness. And if you guys are in Thrive, just share in the comments what you love about it. If you want, so that I don't have to say it. It's better coming from other people, because I know that I have mamas in there who have been totally transformed by being in there. Yeah.
Tabitha says, I
Hi.
have 3. I want to homeschool so bad. 7, 9, and 2, but don't know where to start.
Oh my goodness, Tabitha. Okay, here's where you start. Is I have a 26-page free how to homeschool guide. I want you to download that. It's totally free. I also have a free 5-minute homeschool style finder. And what's really fun to do on lives is when you guys go and take the 5-minute homeschool style finder and then come back and tell me what your style is. And if you're confused and you don't know how to set up, I have an 8-step homeschool success framework. And even in that framework is a 3-hour training on how to properly set up your year so that it actually works. It's called the Fail-Safe Homeschool Setup. I have a homeschool audit in there that makes sure that you aren't forgetting anything really important with their academics, social, emotional health, and all of that. I have an ebook that I wrote just for my Thrive members about how do you manage all this mayhem, like managing all these kids, the household, the toddler who's got a danger to him or herself while you're trying to teach another one. Just, tips, tricks, and hacks from veteran homeschool moms that we have learned over the years. Yes, question. Yeah.
Jade Schneider, 2nd year homeschooling.
Second
kids
year.
7, 9, 11, almost 6 from Michigan.
7, 9, 11, almost 6.
Want to find our people.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so here's how you know, because here's the thing, is there are people that are not a fit for my community. So there's a couple of categories, and there's people that, let me just tell you the people, if you are my people, is, for one, is if, a ghost just showed up. Was that me? Did I do that with my hands, like on Zoom?
No, somebody said
Okay,
you.
okay.
Tika.
Number one, if you're a person that thrives having a plan, like a step-by-step process, you're not the person that likes, there are people that love to like invent the wheel themselves and write all their own curriculum. If you're not that person, if you prefer like a paved road where people who have made a lot of the mistakes ahead of you and you like a plan to follow, that's what we do in Thrive Homeschool Community. If you're also a person that has a growth mindset, so this is a big deal because, in fact, just today there was a gal in the comments in Thrive, and she was like, she commented something about how her personal growth in the coming year, and I was like, these are my women. I feel so seen because I have created a atmosphere where not only is there that 8-step homeschool success framework that makes you build a homeschool that is just undeniably successful, but on the other side of that, and this is where like veteran homeschool moms need like this nourishment, is if you're on the growth plan, like you love to grow and you love to talk about big ideas and ponder things, and that's fun for you, like that inner growth, then Thrive is absolutely the place for you. And we're not a place where you have to homeschool a certain way, or you have to be a certain style, or you have to have some sort of a religious belief. That is not what we are. Our common ground is we are all homeschool mamas, and we have a couple dads that are awesome, who are awesome. if you are, the common ground is we all want to do right by our kids. And we actually know deep down, see, this is where I disagree with a lot of the homeschool space. So I might step on some toes here, but I'm going to say it anyway. And it's why I created Thrive. You actually can mess this up. You know, the messaging in our community is, oh, don't worry, you won't mess up. You'll figure it out as you go. That's not my style. Like, these are our kids. These are our precious kids. And we're homeschooling because we want something better for them. We want them set up for success in life. We love them. And when you are homeschooling with that intentional, caring purpose, you do realize, oh no, there are some mistakes that I can make that actually might set me back. Those are my people that like, no, we actually take this homeschooling pretty seriously and we want to do a really good job at it. And let me just add, homeschooling is one of those things where out of all the jobs that I can think of, it's actually a pretty freaking important job, but no one gets training for it. Like there's no on-the-job training, for homeschooling moms. We're just kind of like thrown in the sea, thrown nails and boards and said, build a boat and by the way, sail it over here and get them ready when they're 18. Now, I'm not saying that homeschooling is like super hard and impossible. What I'm saying is there's this like cognitive dissonance in our society where the messaging to moms is that, oh, homeschooling's so easy, but that's actually not our reality. Now, let me know if that's for you too. Is your reality that homeschooling is just easy and it's a breeze? Because for the mindful parent who cares, who wants to be a good parent and wants to be a good homeschooler, there is a lot of thought and strategy that goes into it. You kind of become like the COO of your household. So I know I'm a little bit on a soapbox here, but those are the people that I attract, the people that take homeschooling seriously. And yeah, we have fun and we laugh and we also cry in office hours and we struggle. And I find out, I help people that have been told their kid's going to be fine and they actually know their kid needs help, but no one in the homeschool space told them that. And they actually do. So anyway, those are my people. Are you guys my people? I know you are. I know Jen is. Most of them.
Oh, Jen's so sweet. So not easy. The sleep I've lost.
Yes. And you know what else too? It's not only the logistics and the curriculum choosing and all of that. It's also the emotional burden of homeschooling. So, I'm just not going to be the person who makes social media posts totally glamorizing homeschooling, acting like it's the easiest thing in the world and my kids are perfect and they're never at each other's throats because they literally were this afternoon and we have 8 loads of laundry and yeah, I cooked a healthy dinner, pat myself on the back, yay, but the house is a disaster. Like, is that you? Because that's everyone's reality. That's not like the Instagram reality of homeschooling. So anyway, we're just a different group. Like, we admit like what life is actually like. But here's the thing. Because I'm probably talking people out of homeschooling right now. The thing is it's kind of like having children where it's completely hard work, but so worth it, and you almost can't even explain it. You can use words like, we have an amazing connection, and my kids have never been happier, my kids finally fall in love with learning, and all of these things. The big payoff for me is our family connection, how I'm able to orient my kids towards their learning so that they love it, and a lot of other things. Tell me in the comments, for those of you who have been homeschooling a while, like at least 3 years or 2 or 3, 5, 10 years, I want you to write in the comments for those people, because there are mamas in here who are just watching and they're scared. They're scared to pull their kid out at Christmas. And we're not going to lie to you. We're going to say, no, yeah, it's a big choice, because it is. I'm going to validate that. It's a big choice. But at the same time, share with these mamas that are on this live, like, what things you've seen that have been transformative in your lives because you have made this choice for your family. I would love to hear from you, and I want to read it as well. So I'm sure we have lots of homeschooling questions.
Yeah, Red in Control says it's so true. It isn't easy, but it's so worth it. Wanderlust. I have a breakdown nearly every night these days.
Oh. Wanderlust, are you in Thrive? I think she is.
This bee.
You should DM me.
I'm using Bridge School as an umbrella, kind of mixed with my own curriculums. It's my first year.
Who is this?
This bee.
Okay. Did you have a question, this bee?
No, she's Wanderlust is in the UK.
Oh, okay. We have people in Canada. We have somebody in Africa and in Australia who's in Thrive. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, in the Middle East too. We have some military.
Middle East. That's right. We have quite a few military families.
Yep. I have teaching degree for elementary education, so high school is not my thing. LOL.
Yes.
That's red in control.
Yes, girl, I know it. The nice thing, and Karen, I'll answer you. The nice thing about when you're homeschooling older kids is you try to work towards, and a lot of them they become really independent learners. And that is a good thing. They are responsible for themselves and doing their work. And yeah, they need accountability, they're kids. But the nice thing about homeschooling older kids is that often they're in like co-ops where they're doing their, if you want to do like AP sciences or whatever, like I'm not going to teach that. And so there's lots of homeschool online classes, in-person co-ops and all of that, where you're basically by the high school years, you're more of a manager and you're holding accountable. You're not really doing the day-to-day teaching unless you want to. Like I'll probably always teach my kids their writing because I love it, like grade their essays. So we're in writing programs, but I love grading their essays and talking to them about their writing, for example.
Okay, so
Okay,
Emily,
questions. We're going to get to your questions. I love them.
Emily, what do you do when spouse is not on board with homeschooling?
Okay, so in my book, Homeschool Rising, which is available on pre-sale, I go into detail with an action plan on what to do when your spouse is not supportive of the homeschooling choice. Now, here's the thing, is I'm going to make a really big assumption here, that you are in a healthy marriage and that your spouse wants what's best for you and the kids. Okay, so for example, this advice is not going to work if you're married to like a narcissist, okay? Because narcissists you can't really, right? They don't really care about you and the kids. So assuming those two things, the most important foundation to understand about having a spouse that's not supportive is it's usually based in fear. Sometimes it's fear that you're going to be stretched too thin. The mama is. Sometimes they're worried about what their kids might miss out on. If that's the case, first off, I think my book is going to be a total fit for you. So grab that when you have a chance. It's on pre-sale now. But the most important thing is that you make sure that you respect your spouse, you honor one another, and you go through your fears and your anxieties. And the other thing too, and so they feel listened to, and you even write lists like pros and cons. And another thing that works for a lot of families is you got to remember this. Homeschooling doesn't have to be a forever decision. You can homeschool on a trial basis. A lot of families end up staying homeschooling because it's such a great lifestyle choice. But often people need to see it to believe it. And so you can say like, hey, and you need to be honest. This can't be a manipulative thing because I do not like manipulation. So this needs to be a real thing. You can say, look, let's try it for a year and then let's reassess. And I will evaluate how I'm doing. We'll evaluate how the kids are doing, how they're thriving. And during that time, I'll also make sure to address their fears. So like, for example, if it's something silly, like they're going to miss prom, find a homeschool prom. There's millions of them. Like, make sure to honor your spouse with their fears on what they're missing out on. But what's going to happen, what usually happens is that humans are always scared of the unknown, right? It's almost, and there's like this term that's called like the hell you know. It's why people don't grow and change. But what you will start to see is the benefits that you weren't able to see because you guys were probably both conventionally schooled. The benefits that public schoolers and private schoolers will never get, you'll see those now. You'll see those now that you're homeschooling. Because right now they're very hard to see because it's this foreign lifestyle that you don't really know about yet. But once you get into the lifestyle and you get plugged in and you find your people and you find your community, you'll realize, oh my goodness, it's the public school kids that are missing out. Why did I even worry about prom? And not only that, but you might be in my boat where like something that I cared a lot about in the beginning, like I don't even care about now because I see the amazing, unique lifestyle that I am able to provide my kids, and that outweighs any Sadie Hawkins dance that they might be missing. So anyway, that's my short answer. I go into a lot of detail in my book. So I just gave you 2 or 3 things, and there's, I think, how long is my list? 11 in there?
Carrie,
yeah. I'm going to have a little sip.
Over on YouTube says, how do you deal with homeschool skeptics on Christmas? Quizzing your kids.
Okay. How do you deal with homeschool skeptics at Christmas quizzing your kids? So if they're just an annoying person who is not, like, if you're not invested in them and they're just really being undermining to you and your homeschool, and it's actually pretty manipulative to quiz kids because they are trying to get at you in a backdoor way. I find it pretty sinister when people start quizzing kids. What, do we go around quizzing public school kids? Because I can guarantee you they will flunk. But I don't do that. So anyway, so I would set boundaries. So if someone is really violating boundaries, like this is not appropriate, you can say, hey, listen, I'm going to ask you not to ask my child questions about their academics. If you have concerns, though, about what they're learning, I would so be happy to sit down and have coffee with you or have a phone call with you and talk about our homeschooling life and why we've chosen what we're doing. The other thing, too, is you need to know your why. Because when you know your why, hi, Kayla! Kayla knows her why. When you know your why, it's the very first step in the homeschool success framework. It was one of the very first workshops I ever taught because it is the most important thing. And here's the thing about it, guys. Okay, and I know you can go here with me because I know you guys are on the growth plan with me. Finding your why is never what people want. They want to know, what curriculum do I buy? How do I manage my days? This, that, and the other. But it's actually what you need, and it's what you need first. And let me tell you why. And it's a workshop in Thrive. You can also buy the workshop by itself on my website if you want. You don't have to join Thrive to get the workshop. However, what it does is it gives you, at the end of 45 minutes, you have a completely custom statement that is entirely disarming to people. So when you're in family gatherings and your homeschooling is being questioned, you have a memorized statement to give them that literally stops them in their tracks, because what I do in that workshop is I get to your heart on why you're saying no to the system, and I help you put it to words. And it's so personal. Who's going to attack you personally? I mean, maybe a narcissist would, but overall, people will be like, oh, okay, yeah, right. Like, and once you take, I'm sure there's people in here who have taken the workshop and yes. Anyway, yeah. So that's my recommendation, is be very solid in your why and have that statement memorized. It's incredibly disarming, and set boundaries and fight those people pleasing tendencies. Because we want to make excuses for our homeschooling. And I'm so over that. I am so stinking over it, especially with all the research I did in my book about how the public schools are actually, and private schools, are actually doing, the history of why public schools are in existence. And it's like, why do we feel cornered all the time? Why are we having to answer to society about our choice? So they should be answering to us, because it is ludicrous. It's ludicrous to think that kids are getting a better education in the school system than kids are getting at home. And the statistics prove this. 87% of studies show that homeschoolers outperform conventionally schooled kids. And that includes private. And wait, is that a...
You're good.
Yeah, I'm good. Okay. All right. Questions?
Karen asks,
I'm a little chatty.
When is testing for Colorado, Christy?
It is not this year, it's next. Testing in Colorado is every other year. We just did it last year.
There's a Navy wife.
Oh, hi.
Who got deployed and is looking forward to homeschooling once he gets back.
Oh, awesome. Yay. Follow along and stay here tonight.
Great.
Oh, you're so sweet, Jen. See, you're you know what Jen is? You know what you are? And I'm serious. And I can't wait to meet you in person and we hang out. Is I feel like you're my ride or die. Like if I was to say like, Jen, let's go rob a bank, and you'll be like, okay, I'll get the keys. Like that's how I feel about you, Jen, and that's sweet. I tell my girls I'm their ride or die. Like, and then they're like, I don't want to rob a bank, mommy. And I'm like, okay, let me explain. We're not going to go rob banks, you guys. Don't cancel my account. Okay.
Marissa says, what do I do about my daughter? She just wants to do her lessons and be done.
Do her lessons and be done. Yeah. And what age is she?
I don't know. Marissa, if you're there, let us know.
Yes.
Yep.
Oh, Kayla! You guys look at Kayla's comment. I work towards helping my kids become something. Oh, become someone is what she said.
I love that. Jessica,
Yes.
I want to homeschool. Husband is against.
Yes.
No suggestion. I hate the U.S. educational system.
Okay, I can't answer it again. Did you just come in, Jessica? Because I just spent 5 minutes with another mama who their husband is struggling. First, buy my book, Homeschool Rising. It's on pre-sale because I go into detail when you have an unsupportive spouse. And then we can also, someone gave me so anyway, but I don't want to go into it again on this live because I just answered it and there's so many other questions. Like I do want to hit out. Motivation. My mic. I just messed with my mic.
Oh.
Who wants to hear about motivating? How do you motivate your kid? My kid doesn't want to work. I have resistance from my kid. They don't love learning anymore. No, Jessica, don't apologize. Stay. I feel really bad but I can't answer it again. I feel awful. Okay. Yes, let's talk about, hi everybody, I love you guys so much. If you are considering homeschooling in January, I want to say do it, girl. And I have the support for you. If you don't know what Thrive Homeschool Community is, it will completely knock your socks off. Go to my bio and watch the video on what Thrive Homeschool Community is. And if you don't know my background, that's in there. It's in the top video on there. I go into my background on why I can speak to these things. And yes, let's talk about motivating our kids for a minute. And this is going to apply to people who aren't even homeschooling. So I was DMing a lady today, and actually it's going to be the next workshop that I teach in Thrive is going to be on motivating kids. The first thing we need to talk about when we're discussing kids not being motivated, there's a couple underlying factors that we need to accept that are true. The first is that lack of motivation is a form of resistance. And when we view it that way, it's more of a puzzle to solve. It's not, what that does is it pulls us out of, my kid is lazy, right? Because a lot of us want to go there. I've gone there myself. Like, you're not alone. But it pulls us out of that because humans are wired for curiosity and to love learning. We know this. Science shows this. So when we have a child who is no longer motivated, no longer loves learning, that is a red flag for us to investigate why. And there are a lot of reasons why. There are a lot. And I won't go into every single one, but I'll go into the biggies. Number one, a big motivation killer is perfectionism. Anybody here have perfectionist kids? Do you have a question? We have a lot of questions. Okay, perfectionist kids. And then another reason why, there's so many that kids can lose their motivation is if they do have a learning disability that maybe has gone undiagnosed and learning is really hard for them. Because as they get into about third grade, academics get pretty abstract and pretty challenging. And if they have processing issues, memory issues, they have dyslexia, dyscalculia, dysgraphia, ADHD, that's when you start to see a love of learning diminish because it's actually really hard for them, like harder than we can even imagine. And that's a big one. Getting that when there is not enough interest-led learning, the word for it is like a nasty word, but I'm going to say it. The technical word is coercive learning. So what happens in our public schools is what we would call coercive learning. Kids have no say in what they are learning and when they are learning it at all. They have to follow. And so what we have found with research is that when there is when there is an honoring of a kid's interest and we lean into their loves and their hobbies and what ignites their fire, we start to get that love of learning back. And that does not mean become an unschooler. That's not what it means. It means there's a ratio where they feel honored and heard enough. And because then when they feel that way, you can sit them down and have an honest conversation, like I have with my junior hire, where I have said, you know what? Mommy's anxiety has just really gotten in the way right now because I'm anxious. I am anxious that doors are going to start to close for you. So I want to help you. I want to help you, and I want to turn this around, and I want to make you a promise that I am going to stop at nothing to figure out how to make this work for you. But you have to know there are things in life, when we make an amazing dinner, there are still dishes. There are things in life that we don't like that we have to do. But that's not really what I'm worried about. I'm worried about how you've lost this love. You've lost this spark. And that's what I want to get back. So that's something to consider too. This is the type of discussion that we can go really deep into office hours on. So in Thrive Homeschool Community, we have 4 office hours a month, and we split them up into ages, which is really important. Next week, 2 days after Christmas, the nighttime one is teens, and the daytime one is elementary kids. We also have office hours for littles, and then another nighttime one for all ages. And so this is where we get kind of nitty gritty, where we're able to do more of a back and forth, where I get to know you, and then we're able to pinpoint. And did people comment? Do we have kids who are perfectionists in here? It can be crippling.
We have kids that are just struggling.
If your kid is struggling right now with motivation, please, please, please join Thrive Homeschool Community. We have content coming up to help you in tremendous ways. And getting to that motivation piece is not something I can answer on a live. Like, I have to ask you questions. There has to be a back and forth. I actually have to know your parenting style. Not that I'm not going to support your parenting style, but that's something that can factor in to sometimes there's habits that we need to break. Sometimes it's not a learning disability. Sometimes it's the hardware something's wrong with the hardware. Like, we just discovered that one of my kids needs vision therapy. And believe it or not, that's why the handwriting has been a struggle, not staying on the lines. So, and that was why we had a consultation with an OT and come to find out vision therapy. Wow, okay. So anyway, that's the type of stuff that we need a back and forth to be able to get to the bottom of. But let me just tell you tonight, if your kid is not motivated, if you are getting resistance, if you feel like they hate learning or don't want to learn, or it's tension every day and it's tears, please join Thrive Homeschool Community so you can consume that content, you can make the pivots that you need to, we can have a back and forth conversation with other moms who are struggling with the same thing. And what you need to know is you're not alone. Don't feel alone. You're not a failure as a parent. You're the perfect parent for your kids. But at the same time, we're also on the growth plan. And I gotta tell you, when kids change ages, like preschool to elementary to junior high to high school, we have to also change our parenting. We do. And sometimes that's really hard to recognize when the appropriate time is, and there's some bumps in the road. So that's what I'll say about motivation right now. But anyway, let's go on to more questions.
How do people find Thrive?
Thrive is in my bio. It's also on my website, but you can click my face, and it's in the link tree, that thingy. Yeah. It's in the link tree. I think it's the first button.
Mrs. Sanford says,
if you are starting homeschooling in January, you need to join Thrive Homeschool Community now, so that at least you can do the fail-safe homeschool setup. Actually, joining Thrive is cheaper than buying the fail-safe homeschool setup by itself. It's a 3-hour training on how to set up your year, organize your days, weeks, months, how to stay legal. It's a step-by-step process. So anyway, yeah, definitely worth it. Okay.
Wanderlust says, how often is Thrive?
Okay, so go to the landing page, because it's not a how often. So it's an online community where once a month we have a masterclass workshop. We have the 8-step homeschool success framework that you work through when you're in there. And we have office hours. You can DM me and DM the other mentors. We have an entire team in there. Thrive offers so much. We have a monthly supplement. Oh, it's dropping tomorrow, you guys. You know what the supplement is tomorrow? It's a student interview check-in. It's going to be awesome, where you're going to be able to talk to your student and have some great conversations. See, when I said, like, if you don't love growing, Thrive is not the place for you, because you'll just constantly feel poked, because there's a questionnaire like, hey, where you're asking your kid, you're honoring them, you're saying, what's going well in your homeschool? What are you really struggling with? What are ways I interact with you that are really helpful and motivating for you? Are there some things that you think that I need to change at all? The hard conversations, but so good. That's dropping tomorrow. It's done. It's going to drop tomorrow.
Yeah.
And if you're wondering, Jesse's the one that makes everything pretty.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
Yay.
Hannah Wilhelm says, how do you pay? Once packages? Do you do anything with behavior?
What do you mean by behavior? I'm not an OT, but I can recommend. So when you say behavior, because of my background, I'm like, that's where I go. Like, are we talking about IEP, OT, primitive reflexes, that kind of a thing? And if you look at the description of Thrive Homeschool Community, you'll understand it. And I have a video that's right at the top that explains a lot of it too.
Wanderlust says, can I join from the UK? Our times
Yes.
are different.
Yeah. Because, all the workshops are on replay. And I did that on purpose, because just in the States, we're in different time zones. And so the workshops are live on, at a time where I live, but they're always put up on replay. You never have to miss anything. And although you're not there live for the Q&A after the workshops, that's why I allow you to DM. You DM me and you can DM the mentors.
And the times work because you have noon and you have an evening.
Yeah. We always, did you hear what Scott said? Our office hours are at 1 p.m. and then at 7 p.m. So usually people, like, I have a client in Australia and I just know where he is. 4 p.m. my time is right when he gets into the office at 8 a.m. and that's when we always do our Zoom. So, you just kind of figure it out. If it works for you.
Yeah. Okay. Somebody asked, would it work well for ADHD kids?
Thrive Homeschool Community, yeah. Absolutely. I have read thousands of IEPs. I've worked with so many kids with ADHD. We can absolutely coach you in homeschooling kids with ADHD, all learning disabilities. We have tons of moms in there whose kids have autism. So and that's kind of what sets me apart is I'm not just a mom who decided to homeschool, who just now wants to give advice. Like, I did this for 20 years. I have read thousands of IEPs. I taught teachers. I trained all of my teachers. I worked with kids myself that entire time and met with principals, counselors, all of that stuff. So there really isn't an educational issue that I have not only am aware of, but have probably read an intimate IEP on and executed an individualized plan at my own center for. So there really isn't anything. And that's, I think, a lot of moms, and is this you? A lot of moms, their kids are different types of learners, and that's why you're homeschooling. And so I love that I am a place where you guys can land, where someone actually understands that your kid is wired differently and learns differently and will support you in that, rather than people who know the scientific evidence for what works for kids with those particular learning profiles. I mean, I will do a consultation with you. If you join Thrive and you need even further, the consultations are discounted, where we can even spend time where I'm reading the actual IEP and we're having a one-on-one. I did that. A gal just joined Lifetime. She might be here. She joined Lifetime just because she wanted me to read her IEP, her son's IEP, and do the 30-minute Zoom. And that was such a special time. And I love getting to know her. So, yeah. Yep. It's a membership.
Great. Okay, when can you start homeschooling kids?
Anytime. I was just on a podcast where we're talking about this mid-year pivot. A lot of people start homeschooling now, like for January, or they wait until the school year starts, like August, September. But there is never an illegal time to homeschool. You can pull your kid at any time. Credits don't matter. Like even high schoolers, like, oh, but they have credits. You just put those credits on their transcript and then you finish out their credits. You can literally leave anytime. You are not bound. We are free. We live in a free country. We can homeschool whenever we want. And we can do it legally.
And how young could they start?
Oh, how young? I generally like to see preschool around 3. If your kid is ready.
Eminem says, my son... Eminem?
Yeah!
My son is struggling, I think, more the candy than the rapper.
Oh! Not the rapper?
No. No.
Oh my goodness, one Christmas, you guys, when I was a little girl, my parents gave me a gumball machine but it didn't have gumballs, it had M&Ms, and I don't know what got into me, but I ate way too many, and then I was vomiting on Christmas Day. It was just so awful, and I hate M&Ms to this day, but I love Eminem, the rapper.
My son is struggling at school. Teacher told me he needs to be tested for learning disabilities.
Okay, and he might. So. Yeah. And that's something that I can help people discover in Thrive as well. If like, okay. Because often we see it with reading where a mama isn't sure like if her kid is behind in reading or not. And there are certain red flags and experts that I can send you to that would help you. Yeah.
Elsie says, it's making me want to homeschool because at home he learns when I give him the time.
I know. And can I just say a moment about, if Jen's still here, she's going to be like, here Christy goes again on another soapbox. You guys do realize that IEPs are created for the classroom environment. Like when you read the back of an IEP, which I'm so sick of reading them because it's just, I feel like they just label kids and tell everything that's wrong and why it doesn't work for the classroom. But what you guys need to realize about an IEP is they are written because the child is not thriving in a classroom environment, in an environment that the government created. The environment is not a fit. So let me give you an example. On the back of an IEP are all those accommodations. Sometimes they're sprinkled in the middle, sometimes they're at the end. Extra time on tests, quiet work environment, read the questions out loud, extra time at recess, all sorts of frequent breaks, scaffolding, breaking tasks down. Okay, you guys realize that is, you're describing homeschooling. Like you don't need accommodations when you're homeschooling. You literally can just homeschool in the way that your kid learns. I've never timed my kids on tests unless that's something I was working on, like for standardized tests. But other than that, I'm really just interested in if they understand the material. So the one exception, though, to the IEPs are the therapies. So like if your child needs OT, speech therapy, things like that, those are things that you do need to outsource, unless you are personally a speech therapist. But other than that, which you can find, and millions of homeschool parents find private resources, which end up being better because the way the school does these interventions is crappy, to be honest. Ask anybody who's in the schools who does those. It's like a huge group of kids where they're doing speech therapy and like the kid gets 5 minutes a week to work on their speech impediment. It's like ridiculous. So anyway, okay, I'm done with my soapbox.
Okay.
Any questions about IEPs? Let me know.
Kendra's
Hello.
here.
Kendra, you can speak to it. So Kendra helps with she was a special ed teacher. She's on the Thrive leadership team. And she did such a beautiful post in Thrive that I pinned it. It should still be pinned. It's like, if you have a kid who has special needs, read this. Okay, yay! Elsie, you're new here. Can we give her hugs? Welcome.
She says, thank you for all this information. Do you guys provide homeschool programs?
No.
And she's also saying, my son is struggling to read.
Okay, how old is he?
He isn't reading grade level. I don't know how old he is.
Okay. I would need to get to know, if you look at Thrive and it's a fit, I would love to get to know you and do a back and forth to get to the bottom of the reading. 9. Okay.
How to help a child that hates writing?
Okay, so is it composition or penmanship? Is it hating the writing of the essays? Because that is a very complex process that involves a lot of stuff working in the brain. But if it's just like learning to write, like the motor skills of learning to write, oh, wait.
Yeah. Amelia's wife says, I'm a public school employee, and I admire families who choose to homeschool.
Oh, you are so sweet. Thank you, because you're acknowledging that, see, we get beat up by society like we're somehow like neglecting our kids. But people, generally teachers, are like, do it, girl. Like, I'm in the schools. I'm an eyewitness of this, and it's awesome. So thank you for your support. That means so much. Yes. Okay, the motor skills. Okay, so I would look into some fine motor stuff, maybe consult with an OT regarding the handwriting. Another thing that they probably will tell you to try is cursive. There's debate on that. And then if you want to try something yourself before going to interventions, I would recommend Handwriting Without Tears. That is a great program. It is what is often used for remediations. Whatever you're doing now, I would transition. If you're not, and if you are already using Handwriting Without Tears and not seeing progress, that is a for sure, you need to consult an OT. Yeah.
Eminem says, what if he struggles with the composition in writing?
So that is another thing with composition and writing. First, if a kid struggles with composition, and because it's such a complex process, there are certain programs that I recommend over others to help them with that process. And sometimes this resistance, there's a lot of things that we can do when we try to pinpoint why exactly they're resisting the writing. So one thing, like in office hours this week, what we realized is that the motor skills of it was really hard, and the brain was working faster than the child could write. And so we wanted, while you're working on the penmanship, I was advising that you let your child dictate to you. And then also don't forget that, because I have a kiddo myself who struggles with the writing piece, and I taught him to type early. And we're still working on the penmanship. But it's not an end all be all. And if I can get this kid to type as fast as he thinks, he'll be on the road. And also dictation software if you're not available for the kid to dictate to you. So there are lots of accommodations that you can do. But I don't want to say like do these Band-Aids. If there are some root issues going on, you would want to consult with an OT. Yeah.
Suggestions.
I love you guys. You're so fun.
Oh, you also Ashley Chase.
Thank you, Kendra. Oh, I love you too. Who said that?
Ashley Chase.
Oh, so sweet. Yes, and thank you. Kendra is in here. Yeah, she's asking about pencil grip. We always ask about that. Yes.
Opinion on Montessori. My kid only wants to play outside.
One, I hope your child always loves to play outside. So much learning can be done outside. Oh man, very cool. So, with that, Montessori is one of the styles in which you can educate a kid. It's one of the homeschooling styles. So I think it's perfectly okay and lean into it. However, what I will say is Montessori often gets scary. Montessori also gets scary when kids get older. So that's why it's often viewed as like something you do in preschool and then you don't do it anymore, because to be fully committed to Montessori is like an intense commitment, and it often scares parents and then they stop doing it. So definitely read up on it. And in Thrive Homeschool Community, I have a workshop on the 9 homeschooling styles. I also have let's talk about the free resources in my link tree, okay? Because I have a lot for you there. One is the How to Homeschool Guide. It's 26 pages. It is amazing. It is a lot of stuff in there is what I wish I was told when I was first starting, and it's totally free and it's 26 pages. It's called the How to Homeschool Guide. Grab that. Also free is the 5-minute homeschool style finder. So which of these 9 homeschool styles, Montessori, interest-led, Charlotte Mason, classical, traditional, which of these are you? Because all the homeschool curriculum on the market leans towards one of these styles. So knowing your style is really important. It also helps you feel aligned in your homeschooling, because often people, like, they want to homeschool for, let me give you a perfect example, is mamas will often want to homeschool because they want the freedom and they want their kid to play outside like the person, and then they buy something like a Becca, which has their kid indoors, and it's basically replicating public school at home. No shame to a Becca. It's totally fine if you're a traditional homeschooler. But what I'm saying is having that alignment with who you are and how you homeschool is so important. So that's why one of the steps is understanding all these styles and what you are. So I have a quiz. It's free. The 9 homeschooling styles. Which one are you? I'm very curious. And then what is next on my, curriculum recommendations. I have a free resource that has a lot of curriculum that is well respected in the homeschool community. So it can help narrow down some things. It doesn't mean that it's my recommendations for you, but they are generally well received. That's a download as well. What else do we have in the book? I have like binge-worthy books that just my family has loved. I have that as a download in my link tree as well. So you guys go to my link tree. I have free stuff for you guys, and it's not lame free stuff. I actually give good stuff. The last thing we want is like one of those stupid downloads. It's like a journaling prompt. Like I seriously, like that. You know what I feel like when people do that? I feel manipulated. And I cannot stand that. Okay, yeah, question.
Miss Rurik says, hi, first year. My son is 4, birthday November.
Woo.
He's ready for kinder next year.
Yeah.
Can we start kinder early?
You can. Yeah, you absolutely can start kinder early. And then you'll know if things are not working, and then you can slow down. But you absolutely can.
Madison asks, what if my teaching style doesn't align with my kid's learning style?
So here's the thing, is you adjust your teaching style, because we're the adults. So interestingly, when I would hire tutors, one of our screening was like, look, it's our job to get the kids where they need to be. So we are the ones that do the adjusting. And I know that might be hard to hear, but it is true. We can, and now don't get me wrong, because I think what you're trying to say, okay. No. I think I probably took that wrong, because I think what you're trying to say is like how my brain thinks isn't in alignment with how my kid's brain thinks, right? I think that's what you were trying to say. Yeah. And that can be a challenge. One thing that's helpful is sourcing your curriculum really well when that is the case. Also, it tends to be more in certain subjects than others. Like, for example, math is one of those where like my brain does not think how my kid's brain thinks. You can outsource certain subjects easily. If there is something that you don't want to teach or don't feel qualified to teach, that is something you can absolutely outsource. The homeschooling resources nowadays are absolutely amazing. So, but again, like someone was asking me earlier, like I need to find my people. Who are your people in Thrive? And I was saying, like, we are a group of women who really want to be the best homeschoolers that we possibly can be for our kids. We really do want them set up for success. We are doing this because we love our kids, because it seriously is a sacrifice. It really is. We are giving up tons of free time. We are putting extra burden on our shoulders. And so with that as well, with that huge responsibility, it can be rough. Yeah. And we're not going to lie about that. And we are a community of women who like acknowledge that, but yet it's still worth it to us because we know that our families are going to be better for it. Our kids are going to be better for it. And I got to say, homeschooling really has challenged my own personal growth too. And that's been encouraging, at least for me, because I can see the type of parent that I was even 3 years ago to the type of parent that I am now. And that's from homeschool challenges that we've had to have breakdowns and breakthroughs. So I hope I didn't I'm sorry about misunderstanding your question. I fully apologize for that. I think I did. And I'm so sorry. So.
Okay, so Amber says this.
Hi,
18
Amber.
years in the home. Skipped year means less years of life with child. I regret skipping. So I think she was the child who skipped.
Oh, did you hear that? Nice. Because the other mom was like, should I just start kindergarten? Right. Yeah.
You can get ahead. You don't have to skip.
Yeah, and you can get ahead. So we have cousins who, they're all adults now and they homeschooled, and they were basically done by 16, and they just kind of took electives. They didn't like go right off to college. So, but yeah, I mean, I gotta say that my twins have a late birthday, and I could have went straight from kindergarten to first grade, but there were a couple little things where I was like, let's just do one more year of kinder. And I'm really thankful that I did it. I'm really thankful that I did. And also, their learning has, because I waited, things are coming a lot easier for them. And they're not going to leave my home when they're 17. They'll at least be 18.
Amelia.
Because right? We love our kids. I love being around my kids.
Amelia's wife.
And it's not, by the way, even though I lose my ever-loving mind on a regular basis. You're laughing because you heard me lose my ever-loving mind today. You?
Women, aren't there also homeschool dads too? Well, yeah, of course there are. Amelia's wife.
Awesome. Yeah, we have a little group in Thrive Homeschool Community for homeschooling dads. If you're wondering why I address mostly women in my content and in my lives, it's because I think that it is like 98% of my viewership is female. So it kind of makes sense.
Charity, is becoming fluent in other languages important in your home?
By fluent, like native speaker fluent, no. But we start Latin at around 3rd grade, and then my kids after Latin, they'll continue Latin through high school. That's the plan. And then in high school, they can choose another language. Scott is half Mexican, and his mother speaks Spanish, and so my kids are interested in learning Spanish as their secondary language. But there's a lot of reasons why Latin is a really great language for kids to learn. So we start Latin formally in 3rd grade.
Yep.
And foreign languages in particular really help with brain development, connecting right and left. It's valuable, a lot like music, very valuable.
So the plane is going to start to descend, so if you have
Okay.
questions.
Oh, the plane is descending. All right, we're wrapping up.
Yeah.
Do I get a cookie?
Of course you get a cookie.
It's Christmas cookie. I love cookies, you guys, and I love any type of buttery shortbread type of cookie. And so I have a total every evening. I have a cookie moment with no apologies because tis the season. What are your guys' favorite desserts during the holidays? I just love a cookie. And then I make Venetians. And Scott loves Venetians, and so I make them for his birthday. His birthday is the day after Christmas. And that is a beautiful layered cookie. It's almost like a petit four. It's very cake spongy, and it is delicious. And so I'm going to make that for your birthday, babe.
We got a Pizzelli lover in here.
Oh!
Katerina.
Nice, Katerina. Yes. Kayla, I love that. Your husband will take over science. Yeah. I will never be teaching science. Not like a formal science.
Snap Cider says, Snap Cider. What's your position on AP curriculum?
Okay. What do you mean? Like, should you take AP courses or should you? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
What do you think about AP?
I need the.
Okay.
What?
Oh, for or against?
For or against AP classes? It really depends on your goals. And Scott can speak to this.
Why not?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, definitely. I mean, it's an opportunity to get college credit.
Yeah.
If you're not going to college, you don't need to do it.
Right.
But, any suggestions for moms that carry health insurance for the family and want to homeschool?
I mean, I don't know how flexible your job is and if you have a supportive spouse, but so I work full-time. I work more than full-time, but my job is very flexible. So nights, evenings, I wake up before my kids. So, but a lot of people don't have flexible jobs. They work maybe outside of the home. And so it really depends on being able to homeschool when you have two working parents is how much support you have, how old are your kids, and what type of curriculum that you source. And what I have found is that even if you may not be in a position now to do it, generally, like I've seen families make a lot of change, and this may not be you. It may not, you may be stuck. And I just want to accept that reality too. I'm not going to sit here and tell you, like, talk you into something that's, I'm certainly not going to make you feel bad for something that may not actually be possible for you. So I do get that. With that, what I will say is that I have seen families move states to live in a more affordable place in order to homeschool. I have seen, not everyone can do that, but I've seen it done. I have seen people go on a 1 and 2 year plan to be able to get their family into a position where they can do that. So they're change jobs so that one of the spouses has a more flexible job. So there are things that you can do, and then you could be in a position where I don't think everyone can homeschool. I don't think everyone is able to homeschool, can homeschool, and I certainly don't think everyone maybe should. There are some people, like with mental illness, that I'm glad their kids have a safe place in the system every single day. So, and those are things that we need to be honest about and we need to hold as true as we are homeschool advocates and we thoroughly believe in homeschooling. We also need to make sure that we never lose our compassion for those who don't have the choice, because there are people who don't. So I think that's really important. Yeah, you guys, check my link tree. I have tons of freebies. I have a free how to homeschool guide. If you are new to homeschooling and you feel lost, like you haven't found your people, like you need more guidance, if you're in like kind of a state of anxiety where you're worried you're going to mess up your kid and you have anxiety over, even I get this a lot, like Christy, I have anxiety over what I don't know, because I know there's so much that I don't know. If any of those were you, I want you to know first that you're not alone. We have all been there. And that is why I created Thrive Homeschool Community. I created it to transform you into a confident homeschooler who knows without a shadow of a doubt that you are preparing your kids for a successful life. You are giving them what they need now so that they are set up for a great future, that you have a great family environment, that they are taken care of academically, socially, and emotionally. That is what Thrive does. In the 8-step homeschool success framework, we kind of go through all of these areas that you follow. We help you set up your year with a plan that actually works, because so many of these homeschool plans, just you abandon them a week in. It's like ridiculous. A homeschool plan that actually works. And also you can attend office hours and workshops to really up level. Like if you're that person that loves to keep growing, you will absolutely love Thrive. And the other thing I want to say, and this is probably the most important thing that I want you to hear, because I don't think it always comes across on a live where there's like tons of people and I'm on different platforms and there's lights, is that, but the people who are in Thrive know this, is that you are not a number to me. Like, I am the only homeschool community that I know of where you are allowed to DM the founder. But I love that. I want to help you. I want you to not need a consultation. I want you to have a less expensive path to get the help that you need. And so Thrive is just an amazing place. You will be supported. We have some rules in Thrive so that you'll never feel judged. You can believe anything, be any type of homeschooler. And you really, if you have a sense of belonging in there, we never judge you, we never talk at you, because the reality is what you're struggling with today, we have all struggled with. And those are the types of women in there where we're like, no, that's me too. Let's work through this together and let's grow together. And that is the type of place that we are. So I just don't like superficial friendships. I don't like them. So anyway, that's kind of what Thrive is in a nutshell. You can go to my link tree and check everything out. And other freebies, 5-minute homeschool style finder. You can take that now. That's so fun. The How to Homeschool Guide, curriculum recommendations. If you're wondering what curriculum do I buy, we help you with that in Thrive, but also I have that download. That's not going to tell you what curriculum I recommend for you, because remember, there's 9 homeschooling styles, but at least will help you get an idea of ones to start researching, and then we can continue the conversation in Thrive. And the last freebie is just books that I've loved reading out loud to my kids. Kind of like if you feel like your kid doesn't love reading, it's some binge-worthy books that are just page turners that your whole family will love. So that is just the tip of the iceberg. Please go to the landing page, find out all about Thrive. You can email us and ask questions. We are still working tomorrow, so we'll be able to answer any questions that you have. Email us tonight, email us tomorrow. Can't wait to see you in there. And I think that's it. Yeah. Thank you, Kendra, for helping with the special needs. She is in Thrive. She's our special needs support in Thrive. Love you so much, Kendra. And Jen was in here. Who else was in here that I absolutely love? And some of you guys, I know you, but I don't know your username. So I got to connect. I remember with Jen, she's like, Christy, I'm Purple Switch. And she had to like tell me on a office hours. I was like, oh, okay. So anyway, I love you guys so much. Have a wonderful evening. And if you're not homeschooling now, I hope that you have the courage to do it soon, maybe even January, and we have your back and we can help you do it. Okay? Love you. Bye.